Hello and welcome to what is our second sector showcase. This is this time I'm in the interviewer's chair, and I'm interviewing Derek this time, and we're looking at his massive Iron Warriors force. It's an absolutely glorious sight. I've fought it a fair few times and I absolutely despise it. So well done, you've done
You despise elements of it.
I despise elements of it. Yeah. So you've done a grand job of the Iron Warriors. If you saw my showcase, you'll know the format. We basically go through all the units and chat to Derek about some of his inspirations behind why he chose this Legion, what he's done with it, what makes it uniquely his, etc. So we'll crack straight into it. And why Iron Warriors?
The main reason was because Iron Warriors were the contrast to my Space Wolves, because I wanted a Legion where I could have all the things that my Wolves either couldn't have or it didn't quite fit. I mean, all Legions can have everything, or pretty much everything, but some Legions suit things better. Yeah. So I wanted a Legion that was relatively quick to paint and could have the bells and whistles that my Wolves can't have.
Yeah. So you had your combat monsters,
yes,
and now you've got your shooting monsters.
Definitely common.
I know, painting styles, as you say, you do these completely different.
Oh, totally different.
So give us a quick rundown of how you paint this, because I mean, a lot of people pick Iron Warriors for the ease of painting. You've gone a couple of extra steps on something.
So with my basic paint scheme, what I've gone for is lead belcher spray over black spray, and then I've given them a normal oil wash, let that dry, Agrax wash, let that dry, and then I have dry brushed them up using Necron compound, and then just started filling in the details.
Makes sense.
Simple.
How do you do your hazard stripes? That's the one thing that people despise on Iron Warriors.
On all of the vehicles and the shields on the breaches, they are masked. Yeah. Because it's the only way that you can do it without breaking your brain. And I use the Tamiya masking tapes, because you can get that down as I think the ones I've got is 2, 4, and 6 millimeter width. So really, really tiny strips, and you just spend that bit of time getting it on, and you're good. Base coat of yellow to start with, and then make sure you've got a good rich yellow. Give it a little bit of a varnish if you feel like it needs it, and then mask it up, and then hit it with black.
It really pays off when you see the whole Legion as a
Definitely.
group. So one of the reasons I love my Legions is they've got that individuality. Like, in a way, I actually love your Legion for its uniformity.
See, this was
as a force.
This was one of the other aspects. My Wolves are all individuals. There's not a single model you could put next to another guy and go, that guy is the same as that guy. This army, they're all the same.
Yeah,
literally, absolutely. Grenades, pistol holsters, magazine pouches, they're on the same sides, the swords are all pointing the same way. It's literally, they couldn't be any more uniform.
To the extreme that I'm the one that films and does all the editing. I've had to have Derek actually go through exactly what everything is for me, so that when I edit this all together, I can go, right, that's a tactical squad, that's a tactical squad, that's because they are literally cookie cutter identical. Yeah, man. Such a great army. So, so you've said why you started it and how you do it. What was your first ever thing?
So the first ever thing was I'd painted, I think it was about 2K of Wolves, and I wanted to paint something different. And I'd already had a load of Mark III sitting around, and I was like, initially I built them for my Space Wolves until I realised that there's no point in giving Grey Slayers bolt guns to trap. It's just not worth it. So I had, I think it was 30
I'd
Marines.
Appreciate it if you gave them every now
you know
and
they
then.
can charge after they shoot them right.
Really?
Yeah.
They got relentless as well. It's a rapid fire.
No, it's one of the things they can do with bolt
Oh
guns.
my word! Right, okay, fine. Anyway, back to this horrible.
It's just not worth it. Yeah. So I initially started off with 2 tactical squads and a tactical support squad, and that was my core choice. Backing that up, I quickly did a 1500 point block, which I painted in approximately 4 weeks start to finish.
Not surprised.
Because I just wanted to smash them out. Gave us another Legion to play with, and it basically...
Yeah, it was our original thing. We wanted a traitor and a loyalist to be cracking on with, didn't you?
Oh, that's it. You know, one traitor, one loyalist, and then you've got multiple factions to play with, and that's before you even start mixing it up and doing the, well, I'm actually a loyalist or I'm actually a traitor.
So you started with the boring infantry.
30 of probably not that many. I say probably not that many, there's quite a few down there.
Yeah, there is. Absolutely glorious. So we've talked a bit about why and the how, and where you started. What's your favourite?
My favourite unit
That you own?
that I own, units over armour, I would probably say at the minute it's more the Destroyer cohort and the veterans that I did. Primarily because I actually converted them.
Yes.
I actually put effort into actually doing it.
Yeah, you've been doing your breaches for a little while now, haven't you? Your breaches, your destroyers. Destroyers.
Yeah, it was one of these things I kept humming and hawing. Should I put them in Mark 3? Should I put them in Mark 4? Should I get the 4-dual ones? Should I kit bash them?
Always Mark 4.
Mark 3.
Always Mark 4.
Mark.
This is our big disagreement, isn't it? I love Mark 4 armour.
I like Mark 3.
Mark 3. Everyone. So
I accept there are different marks, and I do believe that certain units do look better in different armour.
of the four of us, I'm the only Mark 4 advocate. Everyone else loves Mark 3. They're all
Because you
wrong.
can dry brush it.
They're all wrong. No, there's too much trim.
You just dry brush it. Let's dry brush it. So, I do love the Mark III, and I discovered quite an efficient way of using Mark 7 Marine arms and Mark III arms from the bolters, so the wrist ones. Chop off the hand, chop it off at the elbow, drill through, and then cut out what you've got left and file it with a round needle file. And you've literally got a van brace that you can put straight onto the back of a Mark whatever arm, and instantly you have Mark III, because that's the iconic part. The van brace is the iconic part of it. So I did that with all the Mark III style models. So like the destroyers with the 2 bolt pistols, they're Mark 7 arms, but they've got the van braces on, so they are Mark III.
That's very cunning. Awesome. So that's currently your favourite stuff?
Yeah.
Nice one, man. Go on then. I'll allow you to do what you didn't allow me to do. What's your favourite character?
Your favourite character?
You banned me from saying favourite characters.
Did I? Well, we had a second.
Blindsided me. Who's your favourite character?
So I think of the fluff, I'd have to go with Kroger, but there's no model for him.
No, I was going to say I don't know that one.
He's brilliant. He basically.
He's a loyalist one.
No, he's a traitor.
He is.
He's a rank and file infantry soldier who basically gets to the top of the mountain first and lays waste to some Imperial fists who are defending the bastion just before Perturabo arrives. And Perturabo was so annoyed at one of his trident, he actually ripped his armour off, demoted the guy who was in the trident, whose name I completely forget now, and elevated Kroger from rank and file infantry to trident.
Straight into the upper echelons.
Literally,
nice.
Yeah.
I read that story.
And he's really, really cool as well, because he's a bit of a nutter. He's a proper brawler, and Perturabo likes him because he's a plain speaker. And basically, the other trident like that, he's clearly, riffraff, get rid of him. But he's an absolute beast. He's absolutely fantastic.
Nice. I don't know that. I have to find him out.
But he's also, and it's something I may want to do down the line, is actually do a model for him. He's actually towards the end of that book, as the Iron Warriors are starting to fight, because it's in, I want to say, is it Angel Exterminatus? I think it's Angel Exterminatus where he gets elevated. And I want to do him because by the end of that book, with all the Slanesh stuff that's kicking off the rest of it, Kroger is basically utterly committing himself to Khorne.
All right, okay.
Because he goes through this whole fantasy-scape thing where he's tearing his way through enemy troops, and he's going through different battlefields, and he's got an axe in his hand, he's got a sword in his hand, he's beating someone to death with his bare fists. But by the end of it, basically, that guy's totally devoted to Khorne now.
He's gone the way of the blood god. That sounds kick-ass, man. I'll have to look that one up. Definitely haven't read that one. He sounds awesome.
Yeah, he is fantastic.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a model for him.
I think I might have to, even if I end up running him as a Centurion.
Yeah.
Because, run him as a Centurion with the Delegatus, because obviously he's got a chosen duty.
Yeah. You love a Delegatus.
I do love a Delegatus.
You love saving points with your Delegatus, don't you? Right then, so we're breaking into it. So we're going. If you haven't noticed, I'm following pretty much the same questions that Dee wrote for me, and I'm reading them off his little phone here. Come on then, we're going into meta combos. So when I fight Iron Warriors, I know I hate the usual Iron Havoc spam,
Yep.
or I hate Siege Tyrants with Siege Breakers and Primus Medicate and stuff. Have you got a meta combo?
I have to an extent, but I don't have all of it. I can run like a light version of it.
Okay.
A light version of it.
Meta light.
Meta light, because I don't have enough models to fill it out completely. And it would be Golg, 10 Siege Tyrant Terminators, and then possibly a Primus Medicae or Perturabo. Primarily because Golg makes Terminators troops choices, but not the Siege Tyrants.
Siege Tyrant.
No, not Siege Tyrants. However, what he does is any Terminator he's equipped with gain Hammer of Wrath.
So anyone who gets close to them
gets slapped in the face by initiative 10, strength 4 random attacks. That's before their chain fists. That's before their cyclone missile launchers and their combi bolters, and you know they're going to fire that lot before they charge you. Throwing a siege breaker there for good measure, and you've got Tank Hunter.
Yeah, that's the one I'm used to fighting.
Well, there's a lot of train of thoughts, and most of the other Iron Warrior players would agree that the sergeant of the Siege Tyrant squad it's an upgrade. He's not a centurion. He's not a centurion upgrade. He just basically he comes with the unit because nobody runs Siege Tyrant Terminators without a siege breaker because there is no point.
I wouldn't say there's no point, but they do become immeasurably better with that re-rolling. There's 2 shots each from their Cyclonic.
2 shots from their
and
launchers.
They still get to fire their bolters.
And they still get their bolters.
And then they get Tank Hunter.
And they get Tank Hunter because the Siege Breaker gives any model with a heavy weapon Tank Hunter. Yeah. So the launchers are still classified as a heavy weapon. Of course. I mean, there are worse units out there.
Yeah.
You've got the Ultramarine one, which do exactly the same thing, apart from they get Tank Hunter if they've got more of them.
Yeah. BS5.
And they're BS5 from boot.
They are pricier though.
They are slightly more expensive.
Yeah. I don't know. And they obviously degrade as you kill them, whereas Siege Tyrant don't. And you have the Iron Warrior bonus of you don't care about being shot.
Yes, because there's people to replace.
There is definitely. There is more men to get inside that armour. That's cool. That's a pretty nasty unit. Yeah, I've fought them a couple of times. Yeah. They do the damage, that is for sure. Really hard to peel out with that 4-up invuln.
Yeah. It's you're throwing a Primus Medicae there, and you can walk through everything.
Yeah.
Because unless you're hitting them with Strength 8 AP2, then
well, even when you are, they've still got a 50-50 chance of surviving.
50-50 chance, and then obviously if you're not Strength 8, then they've got Feel No Pain.
And tanks explode, right? One lucky shot takes out a tank. Infantry in this game, if you can get it to stick around, and Iron Warriors get it to stick around, it's hard to take out. Yeah. Really hard to take out.
I mean, you could always, for good measure, throw in the Master of Signals to give them +1 ballistic skill to boot, just because, who needs friends?
There's your BS5, yeah. Oof, yeah, of course.
It's a long way of getting BS5, but yeah, who needs friends? Yeah. I mean, granted, that's a full Spartan. It's like 10 Terminators, Siege Breaker, Golg, Master of Signals, 25.
Yeah. Yikes. That's a unit, though.
Yeah, that's beef.
Nice. That is a cool unit, though. Awesome. I know you've done a lot of individual work on this army. You like building random wazzy things that aren't necessarily in the rulebooks.
I do.
So
whack, I think most people refer to it as. That's whack.
Win at all costs. I don't know. You do generally run it by people and go. I will always run it by
yes,
people. Derek, that's too much, and you build it anyway. But
I don't think I've actually done that.
No, you haven't.
No, not yet. I don't care. I'm building it anyway.
I'm doing it anyway. So run us through a few of your individual units, which are either Mournival inspired or that you've just come up with yourself.
Yeah. So as you've mentioned, Mournival, big thanks to the Mournival guys there. Love your stuff. Totally going to be using so much of that stuff right now. I did do a scout speeder for my wolves, but did it stretched and counted it as a Rhino before the Mournival book dropped.
That's right.
But I have done one of those for my Iron Warriors for my reconnaissance squad because it's light, it's quick, it gets in there, drops a recon squad off, and off it goes. So I wanted to do that.
So that's the speeder transport.
So yeah, the speeder. So basically, it's a land speeder storm, but it's got a underslung autocannon.
Nice.
Because I love autocannons and Iron Warriors.
Gunpowder, innit?
Well, yeah, it's cannon. Yeah. So I've loved that. I did the javelins using the Forge World Tempest, mainly because I didn't want to paint more javelins because I'd painted some for my walls anyway, and I wanted something different.
Yeah.
And they had gone up on a limited, and I was kind of, no, I need those. I need those. I need them because they are box ugly.
They suit the. I hate the Tempest, and I was like, really, you're doing them? And then when you showed me what you've done with it, like, I love where you've put the multi-melter.
Yeah, multi-melter in place of the assault cannon, extra missile pods under the wings, and when I get them, hunter-killer missiles on the sides. Yeah. And it looks like a gunship.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got no friends.
Yeah, and Javelin is it's not an open top vehicle anyway, so it fit. Yeah, you're exactly right. Like, I wouldn't use them for my Legion, but at the same time, I love them in yours.
I've done them for Iron Warriors, and I've got 3, and I'd probably never do any more Javelins. Because let's face it, a unit of 3 Javelins, whether you run them as 3 individuals or you run them as that, was it 225-point block of death? Yeah. Just coming on from outflank, casually wiping
missiles, hunter-killer missiles, multi-melters,
all hitting on
DS2.
Yeah.
I mean,
brutal.
I use javelins enough to know that
you've got more javelins than anyone else put together.
That is not true.
Nope, you've got more javelins than anyone of us. No, the rest of the of the Sector Wargaming group, you have twice as many javelins than anyone else.
This is true. Is that true?
Yeah, because I've got 2 for me wolves and 3 here, and you've got how many for the White Scars?
I've only got 9.
Almost twice.
It's almost twice as many. Yeah, I've got 6 standard jav and 3 Kyrgyzstan.
He's got more javelins.
I've got a lot of javelins.
But it is White Scars, so you kind of expect it.
So I absolutely love those. And my favourite thing of what you're working on at the moment for what we're going to do on Sector, what are those stupid things?
So I came up with a bit of a crazy idea. Many crazy ideas. Yeah. Sorry. I've done a few rapier platforms that are non-standard, and I initially kind of sat there and thought of what I could do for a rapier platform that would make it cool in Zone Mortalis. Yeah, that was the primary function, because rapiers I love to bits, and basically it's a tractor. It's got batteries, it's got tracks, you can put whatever you want on it and off it goes. It doesn't care. So you've got quad mortars, you've got your rapier platform, you've got all the bells and whistles. So I was like, what can I do to make that better for Zone Mortalis? And initially I came up with an idea of a command node hub, which is going to have like servo skulls and like a data scanner in the middle of it with a guide, because I was going to use
a mobile
command platform, because you know you're in Zone Mortalis, readings are difficult to get, so you've got to send the skulls out to go and get the information. And I kind of was like, I'll do that at some point, and then I came up with the horrific idea, and it is horrific, I'm not going to lie, of putting a flamestorm cannon on a rapier platform. Yeah. Now, flamestorm cannons are 15 points, whether it is on a Dreadnought, box Dreadnought only, or whether it is on a Predator. So I thought standard rapier platform, 15-point upgrade, cracking. Go around the corner, barbecue some stuff. It's a very short-range weapon system. You can outrun it if you want to. It hasn't got void-hardened armour, so you can quite happily rend it down.
True.
And I very much like the idea of them having chem munitions.
Ah, nice. That'd be cool.
So chem munitions for the shred, because it's
and then it
funny.
Would be +1 strength because it's so mortality.
It wasn't so much for the +1 strength. It was more that I liked the idea that when it went down to its last wound, it would explode.
Oh yeah.
Because basically, it's a tractor with fuel tanks on the back of it, and if it's going to explode, it's just going to blow up.
It's such a cool idea. And what would, like, you've got a confined space, or what are flamethrowers designed for dealing with is small confined spaces.
Well, there's somebody in there. Well, I'm not going down there. Send in the rapier platform and burn everything.
Yeah, flush. It's literally a flush technique. So you got the parts from, it was my Predators and Furnaces that I just put the Magna melters on.
And then the fuel...
And you picked them up and just went, I can do something with these. Yes,
and then basically it's the fuel tanks from the Crusader, sorry, the Redeemer, the Land Raider Redeemer. Yeah. So you've got these big fuel tanks on the back, which you'll see in the pictures. Yeah. And I decided that I wanted to affiliate those with my destroyer cohort, because destroyers are all kinds of crazy, but that kind of weapon system, that's a destroyer toy.
Of course it is.
That's a destroyer toy.
So cool, and we will definitely be breaking them out.
Oh yeah.
Zone Mortalis. Again, like, as cool as it is, like, it's AP3, so Terminators are fine up against it. It's only 8-inch range, and it can only move 6. But as a defenseman place, that would be cool.
The cheeky thing is, it's actually an assault weapon.
Yeah, so
it can literally go around corners and barbecue stuff. And then
It's so cool.
because Ted's got his melters on his Predators, which is obviously I got the alternative one. I came up with the idea of putting the Magma melter on one of those as well as a breaching tool.
We
I was
talked
kind of,
about it for a bit, didn't we?
that'd be great, and I was like,
Terrifying is what it
but
is.
utterly useless.
Yeah, we worked it out. At first, it sounds horrific, like a Magna melter in ZM. You go.
But then you've got to remember that it's a heavy weapon system,
Yeah, so
and
if it
rapiers
moves-
don't have relentless. So if it moves, you can't
Yeah,
fire.
it's snap shooting, therefore it's a blast and it can't
Can't
shoot.
fire.
So it's a static emplacement. Yeah.
So it just didn't work. So I actually defaulted from that to the Leviathan Cyclonic Melter Lance.
I love that. It's my favourite model.
And literally pay the points for a Cyclonic Melter Lance, 20 points, and then put it on a rapier platform.
Yeah.
And then you've got to literally something that will, it's me melter ram. For,
Yeah, so the theory, like the fluff behind it was going through doors, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Like literally, you seen how it go into Star Wars or whatever, they shove their lightsaber
of
through
course
and they're
they do.
burning
Burn
through.
it
Like,
all out.
that is literally for going through the most heavily armoured
Yeah, that's it.
bulkhead in the ship. I love it.
And obviously the nice benefit of that one is it's 3 shots at strength
shots,
9. So whether it moves or not, you've still got that opportunity to actually
Only
be.
range 18, so it is medium.
And it's gotta be
to
9
short
inches
range
to get melted.
Exactly right. But it's just cool. So I absolutely love those like individual fluffy things. What about these things?
So yes, these were actually failed Spartans.
They
And
don't look very failed.
they were failed Spartans.
Ah.
So I wanted to build Spartans out of plastic because I've used all plastic vehicles for all of my Iron Warriors with the whole alliance with the Iron Warriors and Mars.
Yeah.
So I wanted all the Mars pattern toys.
Yeah, makes sense.
And obviously there isn't a great deal of that other than the 40k range. So all the vehicles got converted so they actually have Heresy style fronts using the original Rhino front panels. And then kit bashing those so they actually have the Heresy look to them, but at the same time they are identical if you got the side profile from the Iron Warriors Black Book, that they actually look as they should. But these I wanted to do as Spartans. I wanted the blocky side sponsons because I wanted bricks.
Yeah.
I don't want pretty, I
Solid.
want bricks.
Function over form.
Exactly so. So initially I'd kit bashed the hulls of these. I got the extra tracks from you because you were doing your spiky tracks of death for your Night Lords.
So I didn't need them.
And once I'd actually built them and put them next to a Spartan, it didn't look right. It was too short. And then when I put them next to a standard Land Raider, it was too big to be a standard Land Raider. But I hadn't quite grown up enough to be a Spartan. And then I was like, well, that's great. I'm going to mothball those. And then it suddenly hit me about Crusaders.
Yeah.
Not a Heresy vehicle, well, depending where you're in, because it does actually, in some of the bits, it does actually say, during the Crusade. Which Crusade? The Great Crusade?
It's Black Templary stuff, isn't
Black,
it?
it is Black Templary, but they were there before as well. So anyway, instead of giving them the quad las cannon mounts, I opted to give them quad heavy bolters over the Hurricane pattern bolters, because Hurricane pattern bolters don't exist in Heresy. Switch out the twin-linked assault cannon, which is limited to very few legions.
Yep.
Other than having 2 carries on the hull, which would be broken as hell. Twin-linked carries?
No one wants to fight
thanks.
that.
So twin-link multi-melter. And then make them effectively a forward breaching tank, because they've got that lower, wider profile for carrying more infantry. They've got the heavy bolters, and with Iron Warriors, all heavy bolters gain shrapnel rounds.
That's right.
So they lose 1 point of AP, but gain pinning.
Perfect for going forward.
Exactly so, and then obviously disgorging your models. So the I'm referring to these as Crusader Alphas.
Yeah.
I've not used them yet.
Cool. No, we will do.
And I basically decided to make those transports for what will be Breach Team 6. So 15 breaches in there with an apothecary, because they take 16 models.
Yeah, so
And
give
that
them
as an
bigger-
independent unit, trundling up the battlefield it's
We
it's
did
nice.
ban Derek from using these with any space wolves.
Yes, we agreed that. Even I said from the outset,
That was the ban.
15-man
It's like,
slayers.
wow, cool.
Yeah, that's no.
Up capacity Land Raiders, but yeah, no space wolves.
Yeah, because yeah, no, that wouldn't be.
I like them because they're baby mastodons to me.
That's
So that mastodon's got the, what's it called? It's got
the magma melter.
Has it got a Magna melter?
Yeah,
It's got the big melter gun, like a Cestus assault ram.
Yeah.
But these have, it's only a twin-link multi-melter, so like,
I'm still hitting on threes.
so loads of stuff have multi-melters, it's twin-linked,
Yeah.
so what? And heavy bolters, but it's just putting out a lot of shots.
Well, that's just it.
Really cool, and you're still paying points for it. I absolutely love these.
I mean, I think these. I worked out the initial points based on the kind of rough numbers using the original 7th book for Space Marines, and they come in with armored ceramite and all the bells and whistles at about 300 points. So it's 5 points more. It's 5 points cheaper than a Spartan.
Yeah, so you're paying the points for your toys.
You're certainly paying the points for it.
I love them, and I am trying to convince Derek to get them out on the board at every possible opportunity, and they will be.
Well, I think one of the things I want to do is I definitely want to do the Breach Team 6 theme and run the 2 units of 15 breaches.
You love a themed list.
I do love a theme. Got to have a theme.
You love a theme.
I do love a theme.
Awesome. Have you got any other random things that you've made up yourself? Just before we go through each thing individually.
Not made up myself, no. I put belt feeds on my Terminators because the idea it's the idea of them trying to reload that. I mean, so giant belt fields, just like Perta Arbo.
Well, that's it. It's linking the Legion together, so everyone gets the same stuff, but making yours look an individual Legion. A lot of stuff in Iron Warriors has belt feeds, so just adding that extra thing. Cool. Right, so we'll start going through things one by one, just so everyone gets to see how damned pretty it is. For a Legion famous for being bland,
dull,
you've actually done an annoyingly good job of making them look pretty. So we'll start with we'll start down the bottom. Go on, we'll work our way back. So back left, who have you got there?
So I didn't assign any names.
I was going to say you haven't gone
any of
for
my
names.
Iron Warriors.
Literally just bolts in a bolt gun, aren't they?
Detachments and formations tend to have, but not
then
characters.
They just get reserves.
Just reserves. So this is my Legion Praetor. Stock standard Praetor using the Betrayal of Calth setup, and the blade is from Grey Knight Terminator, and literally just kit bashed in there. One of the things I did like doing with my Iron Warriors was adding the extra long metal tabards instead of having the leather tassards. I've got the reinforced plates, so it's very similar to the Mark III plate. They're just longer. Because it just fits. It's a blade of armor. I mean, who wouldn't want to protect down there?
I mean, definitely would be happy with that. Absolutely. And then next along.
So next along we've got Golg.
That is the Golg.
That is the Golg. Who I converted up using Typhus.
Oh yeah.
I've got Typhus to do that, and put the cape on from the plastic Chaos Terminator Champion Sorcerer type, and then basically retrofitted his weapons so he actually felt more like the character, because I had to do a lot of work to get rid of the Death Guard stuff, but it was worth it in the end. And giving him, I mean, Typhus has got his wrist-mounted poison flamer, Toxiver, and whatever he's got, and obviously switching that out for a combi bolter and melter gun, because obviously he's got a combi melter, works. And obviously he comes with a chain fist, so giving him that dramatic pose of here's my chain fist, but you can have the melt first. Yes. But and amusingly enough, he actually comes with a Nuncio Vox. So I had to cram aerials on the back of him as well, because you can't have an Iron Warriors army without Nuncio Vox.
It does make sense for your crazy barrage madness. Ironfire, isn't it?
Ironfire, yes. I don't have that many artillery units.
No, you
have enough.
You have enough templates in them when you run them all individually and crack them all off, mind. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Cool. And then moving over.
So this is my siege breaker, because what Iron Warrior unit wouldn't have a siege breaker? So I refer to him as the master of phosphex, because he turns up, everyone gets toys. It's like Father Christmas. Have some phosphex.
I hate that.
I don't run phosphex that often.
No, to be honest,
I don't need to run
ban it, but we sort of self-limit ourselves.
We self-limit it because it's one of those things where
it can be oppressive. Until me and Alex fight in a phosphex versus plasma battle.
Yeah, that's going to be brutal.
It's going to be great.
Oh, that's just
in a war crime fight. I can't wait for that fight.
It's so excited.
Get painting, Alex. My plasma is all ready. Alex just needs to paint up some Medusas. I think he's still waiting on. Anyway, we'll jump over the big boy.
So moving on to next, we've got my Delegatus. I like the idea of the Delegatus being a more traditionalist. So I gave him the kind of scepter from the Tempestus Silence. It's more of a mark of his rank.
Yeah, rather than a weapon, it's
rather as a weapon.
And
then, as I've been reading things, and it started with the Sisters of Silence, realizing how good charnel sabers are.
You are a big convert for charnel sabers, aren't you?
Well, it's a 5-point weapon for most characters. I think it's 10 for some, but it's that in a challenge you get +1 to your initiative, and you get rending, and it's not a specialist weapon. So if you get that one hit in first, like you get the challenge off the sergeant with the power fist, when you go, all right, I'll skip the challenge, I'm now initiative 6
So you're going
with
first.
my 4 attacks, because obviously you gain the additional close combat weapon. You're going first, you're hitting on usually 3s because his weapon skill 5, and then obviously you're wounding on 4s with the chance of rending.
Yeah.
So it's that cheeky.
So rather than the double KO, which normally happens,
which is, here's my power fist.
both
Where
power
would you
fisting
like
each
it?
other, yeah. It's that chance to get in there first.
Also, sword canes.
Yeah. I never thought of
It's
that.
cool.
Totally. Awesome. He's cool. You love a Delegatus. I say, normally, I've only ever run a Delegatus when I'm shy on points.
See,
you like to do it to save points.
I like to save the points because Delegatuses have the sacred duty right of war, which is nice. But it's also nice that you can take other rights of war as well, because why would you have because why would you take a Legion Praetor in a 1,000-point game?
You shouldn't do that.
Why would he be there? Unless, it's like a really focused game, then that's fine. If it's part of the narrative, great. But being realistic about it, Delegatuses are the ones out there doing the recon patrols. They're the ones out there assessing the battlefield. They're the ones calling the bombardment in because somebody else told them to. And I like that kind of low-level character. So they're above the Centurion by just like 15 points. But I just like
still
that
lets you take your right of war.
That's
cool. That's good. So you save your Praetor or the guys who are running the entire company for the bigger fights. I must admit, I'm never a fan of Primarchs in like 2K and stuff like that.
I mean, why?
Not because how it's oppressive, like if you're okay with your friend or whatever, but like, why is the guy who runs the entire Legion going to rock up with a tiny
That's
little...
just it. I think one of the worst ones I've ever seen was a 1,000-point game, and it was 2 units of Sekhmet Terminators and Magnus.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
Was he Leonidas out for a stroll?
What?
And
Yeah,
he just happened
exactly.
to get into a fight. What are you talking about? I'm just taking my friends for a walk. Like,
These 300 bodyguards, yes, they're my
happened
bodyguards.
to get in a fight. Yeah, and I kind of see where you're coming from with that one. I kind of like that.
Because I've always liked that, just middle of the road.
Yeah.
Just, off you go. Doesn't matter if you die. Crack on.
No.
You are nameless.
You are nameless. You will not be remembered. Cool. So jumping on, still a couple more characters to go.
Couple more. So the next one along is my Master of Signals. So
A very popular choice.
Master of Signals, Iron Warriors. Why aren't you taking it?
Any Legion.
I nearly always take a Master of Signals. Certainly with my Iron Warriors. I take one with my Wolves to
More
support
blast.
things. More blast,
Better
+1
shooting.
ballistic skill, and it's another character if you need it.
Yeah.
My Wolves one was purely out of necessity. This guy is my forward battery commander.
Yeah.
So he basically is in charge of the quad mortars, the whirlwind batteries, things like that, and he's the one that's going to be calling that firepower in because he's in charge of that.
Nice.
But obviously the Phosphex comes from the
Siege.
from the Master of Phosphex.
Yeah. So while you haven't named your characters, you've still definitely got a very great sense of why
Oh
they're
yeah,
in the Legion, where
absolutely.
they're coming from.
They have their purpose.
Yeah.
In their
So
little
you haven't
group.
named them, but you definitely have your own headcanon for each one of them and why they're there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then last of all for characters, before we jump to the big boss, is your Marker.
Yes, new edition, primarily because I wanted to do a destroyer cohort, which was completely inspired by Maudeville. Thanks, guys. Because
The Centurion right was.
it's their Centurion right of war. So you basically take a Moritat, and you can take, you've got to take your core troops as become destroyers, and you've got to take 2 units of destroyers as your core choices.
Yep.
And I just love the idea of the little Centurion games and just turn around and just go, well, the good guys are hard to go in the bushes, and the Moritats just like, what? We'll burn them out.
Yeah.
Burn everything.
Burn everything.
So that's why I've done a 5-man heavy flamer team as destroyers, because I just like the idea of doing heavy flamers. I've got the rapier platforms, the Infernus platforms, and then obviously I've got a unit of 10 destroyers. And I'm still very, very tempted to actually do a unit of heavy destroyers.
Oh, I love heavy destroyers. I do need to get on board with that.
But
what would you do? Would you do dual heavy bolters for the shrapnel?
Well, see, that's the possibility. See, there's too many options. Yeah. Too many options. I've got the option
Can you do dual autocannon?
No, they can't take autocannons.
I was going to say that would be very pointy, but
it would be very pointy. But you've got to bear in mind that 10 guys with heavy bolters, it's still relatively cheap.
Yeah, and it's a lot of shots.
30 shots from a 5 man.
Dual heavy bolter.
2 heavy bolters.
So 6 shots each.
So you switch out your Volkite for 60 shots for a heavy weapon for a 10-man squad.
Heavy.
But I mean, obviously, then you've got no combat, but you still got rag grenades.
Of course, because they're destroyed.
So the other idea we actually had was heavy bolter in one hand because that would be easy to convert, and a power maul in the other one for the instant death.
Yeah, straight 6 doubling out then
with concussion.
Ooh. Oh, nice. I quite like that idea.
I mean, the other idea is literally just roll in with the 2 Volkites and just because it would look amazing.
That's what I want to do for my Night Lords is just Volkite death, just running around with 2 Volkites.
And I did toy with the idea of. Because obviously destroyers can take jump packs, and with the heavy flamer squad, I very much toyed with the idea of giving heavy flamers jump packs, and I was like, "That's so broken, it's not even funny."
Yeah, it would be pretty vicious.
Yeah, burn him. Don't care, burn them all.
It would be great.
But no, so yeah,
I like that. That's cool.
They're on the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those units that I want to do, and they have a place.
Of course they do.
But at the same time, it's like I've got to do other things first.
Yeah, I think we all have quite a lot on our plates. We keep coming up with ideas faster than we actually do them, don't we?
I can only paint so many models.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and we'll finish off characters with the big boy himself.
Yes, Perturabo. Yet to see again.
Yet to see again. We had plans to play a full mass entire collection game, didn't we?
We did.
And then COVID stopped us.
Yeah, COVID curb stomped all over that.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm trying to know, you got that for Christmas. Was it Christmas or birthday you got that one for?
I thought I got you Russ. Didn't I get you him to play it the full week because I wanted all the Primarchs and First Captains?
Yes, that's right.
I got you Per, I got Ian Sigismund.
Yep, that was it. I knew you'd got it. I know you'd got it.
I bought you both your Primarchs.
Yeah.
This was so, because I generally I'm the excitable puppy that then makes all the other 3 do what I want just by sheer enthusiasm. Kind of. And to make sure that all the Primarchs were on the board for our big Legion fight, apart from Jagatai.
Come on, Fortune, where's Jagatai?
Where is he? I went and spent the pennies and and you painted him up as quick as you could. But he's not quite standard.
No, because with Ian getting Sigismund, he didn't like the base. And I was like, I don't like the knight base. And Ian had just done a 40k knight army. Yeah. And I was like, do you want a knight as an objective marker? And I'll swap you for Sigismund's base because
it's a ruined Cyclonic.
Perturabo looks awesome on that.
He looks better on that than he does on. It's like a raised shoulder of a knight, isn't he? He's walking up, and it's the same thing, just with this.
That's just it.
Cyclonic.
And he's got the same base setup, so he can go down on 40mm base if it was being funny. But let's face it, Primarchs should be on 50mm bases.
I believe so.
But the reason they're not on 50mm bases is 50mm bases didn't exist when they started them. So they all got 40mm bases because at the time 60mm bases was a bit, 62 was a bit big.
It's the same as a Terminator, isn't it? Like 40mm.
Well, that's just it. It's kind of. But I mean, for me, Perturabo needs to be on a 60mm base because it's extremely bulky, as should Ferrus, Magnus, Vulcan, because he's Terminator armor, and Horus.
Of course,
They should all be on 60mm bases.
They're all the ones with 3 up in bones on.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of base size should relate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because, he's a Primarch. He's not going to go, well, I take up this much space. He goes, I'm a Primarch, I take up all the space.
The man rides around in a Storm Sword? Shadow Sword?
Shadow Sword, the Tormentor.
That's it, yeah. The man rides around in a super heavy rather than just
like he made
some piddly small tank. The man has a super heavy.
With a void shield.
Yes, you do need to get that build.
It's on the list.
And then you've changed his heed.
Yes, so I put in a Death Guard Dreadnought head because all of my Iron Warriors have helmets because why wouldn't you wear a helmet to battle?
Of course.
And obviously with my Space Wolves, I've lost count how many bear heads I actually painted for Space Wolves, but Iron Warriors, you go into battle, you wear your helmet.
It makes sense.
You've got to wear your helmet.
Of course. I mean, I put helmets on everything just because I hate painting flesh.
See, I cheated and airbrushed most of 90% of mine.
The other one I never understood is like you get your communication through your helmet. How are you hearing orders and stuff if you're not wearing?
Where's your battlefield array?
Wearing your. There's a cool moment in the battle for Tizkar where like there's like 1,000 suns. Mauritanians just like pang, killing a space wolf. Pang. It's like it is really good that they don't wear helmets.
Why don't they wear helmets and protect the most vulnerable part of their body? Zing zing.
So it is cool, and I must admit, I'm not a fan of Pert's like dreadlocked stuff in, so I kind of like him with the.
I much prefer him with a helmet.
I quite like it.
I think it makes him significantly more
intimidating.
More intimidating, from giant man baby to intimidating monster.
True. It's got a lot of issues, Pert Rabo.
Well,
a lot of issues.
I would say most of them are justified, to be honest.
Would you? You're on his side.
Yeah, I can sympathise with him.
Okay, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Who gets to build the Emperor's Palace? Well, we want it to be the Imperial Fist because they'll make it pretty. Iron Warriors would have made it functional. They wouldn't have had to fortify it because the Iron Warriors would have fortified it from the outset. But it's ugly! Yes, but I don't care, it works!
Fair enough. There are some cool moments. I do like Perturobo personally. I hate facing him on the tabletop.
He still needs to be tabled. He still needs to be actually used. He's never seen a game yet.
Yeah, he is he is literally the only... No, I've killed a lion now. He was the first Primarch I ever actually killed. He's very good. His mad blasts and his hammers. And the other thing you haven't got, which I think are really cool, is the Iron Circle.
I'd love to get them, but I can't afford to drop like 300 quid.
That doesn't get used of that.
Well, the thing is, you can use them with other characters. You've got to have a Cortex controller, which you can buy for most of them. So you can use them, and most of the people can take up to 2. If you take them as a bodyguard for Perturabo, it's 4.
Is that how it works?
End of story. You're taking 4.
You take all of them.
That's it.
So
and
you're
it's kind of like,
paying
ooh!
Lord of War price, then...
He comes in at about, I think it's like 1,200 points when you give him...
Foot.
And he's on foot. No...
Wow, how cool is that?
Well, you can't manage to kill them.
I know. True that.
But no, he is...
They're Domitars, aren't they?
No, they're their own variation. They're their own variation, yeah.
I know they're cool. I fought them once.
I love the models. I mean,
I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of how the hammer's held.
That's the one thing I would change.
It's a weird.
It's like a pneumatic wrist. That's not a wrist because there's no hand.
Yeah.
Personally, I would probably shorten those and make them more akin to like a thunder hammer. Yeah. So you've got your shield and you've got your hammer, and you can just smash people's heads in.
Makes sense.
Because the telescopic thing, aside of being a massive problem from a modelling perspective, because it's 2 parts.
Yeah, that's right.
So you'd have to pin through the hand to actually get it on. I like the idea of giving them the shorter, more Warhammer style affair because I think it's about 3 or 4 inches long.
They're big. I've seen them. They're big.
But no, they are one of the units I would like to add in. But
absolutely.
I just can't really afford it
right now. Yeah, we'll get there, and we'll definitely have Pert on the table at some point.
Oh, absolutely.
We've got no excuse.
No. We have
now we have our own Wargaming channel. We better use the models we've got. Absolutely. Cool, so that's your characters. There's a good chunk of them there.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, no. There's one more.
So, yes, Primus Medicae.
Yeah.
I did him...
hidden among the Terminators.
I did him only because I wanted to do a Primus Medicae in Cataphractii armor.
Yeah.
That was the entire function of doing that model was because I wanted to make it. And as you can see from the video, few little tweaks, like the Narcisium. I used the Narcisium from the Grey Knight Terminators because it's a perfect fit once you've actually got past the pauldron section, not the pauldron, the tassel section, the tassets from the actual pauldron itself. And then obviously on his hip, he's actually got, it was a Space Wolf bit actually, it's a holstered bolt gun, but I cut the bolt gun magazine off and put 2 canisters on from the Grey Knight, so he actually looks like he's actually got his assault needler, or his gun thing.
Nice.
And the pistol you can actually see is literally 2 of the Tempestus Scions needle pistol chain thing glued together, so it just looks like a twin link weapon. Because I did it because I wanted to do it. Because it's different.
It's the best reason, isn't it? It's nothing like a bits box to go raiding through when you need stuff, isn't it?
You have one Terminator left, and you're like, what am I going to do with this guy? I'm going to make a random character.
I'm going to do something. Otherwise, it's just a waste, isn't it?
Exactly.
Awesome. So that's your characters. Fantastic. Right, we'll work our way back. So we've got an absolute ton of Terminators.
Yes, Cataphractii.
All Cataphractii.
Yes, I loved the Cataphractii look from the moment I seen it. I know people like Tartarus because they look like baby contemptors. I like Cataphractii because literally it is a walking wall.
Yeah. It seems like your Mark III style, doesn't it? It's like just the
that's
heavier
just it.
block.
The heavier block,
You're
the
not after
ridges,
moving fast. You're after
slow attrition, moving forward, obliterating everything as you go. And the fact the ridges on the back of the Cataphractii match the Mark III, putting the extra armoured tassets down the middle again matches the Mark III, and just pushing it all out from there.
Looks gorgeous. And a lot of autocannons.
Well, I'll put extra Reaper autocannons because it is my intent to flesh out those two smaller squads to be two 10-man squads, and the idea would be that I can either have multiple 10-man squads or multiple 5-man squads. And I like the Reaper autocannons because they're autocannons and I love autocannons. And actually having access to the belt feeds that are out of print, putting those on those Reaper autocannons again, because who needs to reload? And just hammering the shots down range as you're advancing just appealed on so many levels.
Cool idea. It's like even your plasma blasters have like
the power coils
feeds
from the
them
power
rather than just
gear.
relying on the battery
absolutely.
at the back. It just makes it a really cool idea that your boys don't have to start. So that adds to that relentless feel of them.
Yeah.
It's like there's no let up. Oh, wait till he reloads. And he's just out there just going gun, 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 gun. That is awesome. And then so we've got your banner bearer as well.
So my banner bearer originally was part of a company command group. Because you can't have standard bearers in Terminator armor. I don't understand why.
Is that the console guy?
The console guy cannot be in Terminator armor.
Right,
He must be in you have to buy Artificer armor for him, but he cannot be in any Terminator armor at all.
Right, I didn't know that.
Because initially I was going to use him as that because the two guys that were with him ended up in Golg's Terminator Squad, so I bulked that up to 10 to cap it out. But I've got the option of putting him with two of the guys, and instantly I've got a Terminator command group.
Absolutely.
Mainly because I like the idea of this whole Terminator Vanguard, which is the 11th company, so Golg's company.
Is that who he is?
So he's the captain of the 11th Grand Siege Company, and he likes his Terminators because nothing says no than Terminators. So all of them are from the 11th Grand Siege Company, which I've put in transfers on their knees, so they're all 11th Company. And I just like the idea of them all being uniformed in that kind of, where did the Terminators come from? They came from the 11th Siege Company. Don't talk to them, they're really angry.
All the time. Awesome. He's fantastic, he's gorgeous. I do like how clean those transfers come out on his banner as well.
Yeah, hard work, because I messed it up once.
Did you?
Yes, decal fix. I used decal fix that I got from Ian, and I soaked the transfer in the decal fix, and then couldn't get it off the tile. And then after watching the tutorial, realised you soak it off in water first. Then you put it on, and then you and I was like, all right. Oops. So then I went and did it the right way around.
Good man. Good man. Oh, it definitely works an absolute treat. Great. And then horrible, horrible siege tyrants.
I like siege tyrants. I'm not a big fan of the Forge models.
I was just going to say, you made your own.
I made my own using the metal launchers because I had some left, and I acquired one from eBay and another one came from another place. So I've only got 6 primarily because I have that many launchers and they're very difficult to actually come by. I didn't want to use third-party components because I wanted a heavier look, and most of the third-party ones they don't quite fit for what I was going for. So I went with making them. But the reason I don't like the Forger ones isn't because they're not nice models, because they are gorgeous. It's the fact when you put them next to a plastic Cataphractii Terminator, they're smaller.
Yeah, shorter, aren't they?
They're much, much shorter.
The intimidation factor.
But now you've got that intimidation factor, and more amusingly, wow, that's a heavy model, because people aren't used to picking up metal models because they've got metal chunks on the top.
Yeah.
I think the launcher actually weighs more than the Terminator does.
Oh, taking us back to the good old days of...
my models were metal when I was lad.
You could actually... Oh, man, I still remember the first time I ever picked up an original Dreadnought.
Dreadnought in a sock.
Literally thinking that I could hurt someone physically. Well,
Dreadnought in a sock.
A lump of metal.
Literally.
Great. And anything you dropped just exploded and all
billions
its
of
component
pieces.
Parts. Good times. Good times. They were awful times.
Plastic.
No, it's so
much. Do so much more with plastic.
Better. Even just small things of converting and things like that. When it was metal, like, it was literally just, oh man, absolute great.
Gotta hack this guy.
They were the best of times. They were the worst of times.
Yes.
All those memories.
Remember when?
Remember berries. Cool. Then we've got a set of veterans.
Yep. So did the veterans. They were initially for another project, but I decided that I wanted to do a veteran unit for my Iron Warriors because I haven't got any veterans in my Iron Warriors. Not a
they
dedicated.
die before they get there.
Pretty much. And I like the idea of making them a significant more to them, so they don't have standard war gear. They've got extra gear. Their weapons
so
look
they're
more
a bit more
custom.
specialised.
They're a lot more specialised.
Okay.
And I deliberately went through my bits box and found bits like bionic arms and bionic legs. So, you know, they've literally been through the wars. And I do plan on actually putting a few more models in that unit, but I've decided to make them basically dedicated machine killers. So they get that extra 1 to their dice rolls when penetrating armour. So you've all got combi melters. The specialist there's got a melter gun, but it looks much bigger because I've got the chain blade underneath it and I've got a canister underneath, so it's like really got that heavy look. And I did that before the Primaris one came out. The Primaris did a better one.
Oh, never mind. Nothing Primaris is better.
Heresy, damn it!
I want to play my futuristic historical game.
Yes!
Fantastic. Right. I'm just trying to think. Should we go over into the more elites after doing the veterans? We've already talked about the destroyers, haven't we, really?
Yeah. So the destroyers are all converted. Kit bashed from Mark 7 arms and obviously the Greaves that we've already discussed. The launchers were the stock Forge World launchers. I just modified the wrists so they could actually take the heavier plates. The heavy flamers are all plastic.
Yeah.
Which I was...
Stole from me, didn't you?
Got some from you and some from Ian. But again, it's the hobby's all about...
1 million tons of Tartarus flamers.
Yeah, because you went plasma blasters.
I went plasma blaster, so we traded, didn't we? You gave me all your plasma blasters and I gave you all my heavy flamers.
So yeah, rocking out the heavy flamers.
It's one of the best things about having a couple of mates in it. It's, everyone just raids each other's boxes.
Well, the thing is,
have you got this? Or I'm thinking of this idea. Oh, cool, I've got this. Great, can I have it?
Have you got?
Can I have it?
Can I pinch these? Just this tiny strip of transfers. I've done that to Alex so many times with the Iron Warriors.
You like his Death Guard transfers.
It's because the Death Guard transfers on a quarter of their sheet. The Death Guard transfers have half-size transfers.
Okay.
And they're the only transfer sheet that actually has them. None of the Iron Warriors have, I think, 14 of each.
Of course.
14 in white, 14 in silver, and 14 in black. And you're like, that great. And it's only like it's not worth it. And when you go through the Iron Warriors books, a lot of their livery is basically a black line or a yellow line, and then they've got their Legion number underneath, and obviously what they actually are above them. And then in the corner you put what unit they are.
Yeah.
So all my models have their unit designation in the bottom left corner. They have 4th Legion and what they actually are, whether they're tactical, line, or whether they're close support. Or heavy support, or even elites. They've all got that individuality of that's what they are.
Fantastic. I'd say that's what ties your army together in that uniformity, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I like.
It was. I mean, when you think you've gone from having 1 or 2 transfers per model.
Yeah.
My rank and file infantry guys have, I think, about 6. Because you've got 3 on one shoulder pad, you've got 1 on the knee because they've got the 4th Legion on the left knee, and then they've got so it's 5. So 5 on all the standard rank and file models, and characters get a couple of extras because, well, they're characters. They've earned that badge, damn it.
They have. They survived 1 fight, therefore you're a character.
Congratulations, you've been promoted.
In you go again. Awesome. So a couple of tactical squads.
Yep.
Everyone's got to have tactical.
Got to have tactical squads. So tactical squads, again, stock standard. I love the classic bullets in a gun, and with the initial force that I actually built, I wanted it mounted. So they've got their own Rhinos, so obviously I capped it out at 10, but each unit's got their Sergeant with their standard fit and a Nuncio Vox, because I've got artillery, why wouldn't I have a Nuncio Vox?
Spotters.
But one of the things I'm actually quite pleased with is all of my bolt guns have drum magazines.
Yeah.
So again, it goes back to the, why do I need to reload? I've got to...
Yeah, just keeping on that suppressive fire.
Yep.
It's just a nice little touch, isn't it?
That's just it, all the fire.
Oh, All the fire.
All the firepower.
Need to keep going. Plasma Support Squad.
Tactical Support Squad, again, goes hand in hand with any tactical unit. Once you've got your 2 tac squads, tac support squad on board, and then I've got magged wrists in them, so they've got melter, they've got plasma, they've got volkite.
You bring what you need.
Exactly so.
For the points.
And it saves you building, 5 tactical support units.
Cool little unit. And you brought us a lot of our group onto these Recon Marines.
Yes,
I've never even looked
love
at them.
Recon Marines. In my rule, so far, all of the Recon squads, or the 2 Recon squads I've done, because I've got one for my Wolves and one for my Iron Warriors. My Iron Warriors have sniper rifles, they've got the chameleon cloaks, and they are my forward observers because they have a Nuncio Vox. So, infiltrate onto the table, scout to wherever I want, and I've got a Nuncio Vox on target for lobbing those barrage down. And once you're in place, I'm not going to move. I've got 5 sniper rifles taking pot shots at you.
So they're doing something as well.
So they're doing something. They're adding to the battlefield. But the most valuable model in there isn't the sergeant. It's the Nuncio Vox.
Of course.
So he's literally there.
So you just take his line of sight for your barrage.
So first barrage of the game, and obviously with the Iron Fire Rite of War, if you're depending on how you're playing it, one of the cheeky things you can do is you can infiltrate within 12 inches out of line of sight, or 18 inches. If you're in open view.
Yep.
Then on the first turn of your before the game begins, you can scout 6 inches. So feasibly, I'm now within 6 inches of you, and then start calling bombardments down,
which
don't scatter because of the Iron Fire Rite of War.
Tasty.
I mean, granted that squad is going to die, whether it's by Iron Fire, because that first barrage does still scatter.
Of course.
Or they get immediately rinsed because they're like that. Hey, what are you guys doing? Get them!
But you've got your first turn of insane barrage madness.
And that's just it. And those sniper rifles come in really
So it still
handy.
scatters, just not full distance. You can minus
So the first one scatters D6 instead of 2D6. And then once you've got an Iron Fire counter down, and you're within, I believe I want to say 12 inches or 18 inches of an Iron Fire counter and a friendly unit, then they don't scatter.
Nice.
So that first one's only scattering D6, obviously adjusting for ballistic skill because you've got so much line of sight with the Nuncio Voxes. And then bam, 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 and you start hitting them hard with the bigger guns.
Nice. That is a tasty little squad. As I say, I've completely overlooked Recon squads, and yet they've done so much damage to me in the games we play.
I mean, the Recon squad in our ZM game where they came on behind a Contemptor and shotgunned you in the back and took 2 hull points. Lucky as hell. Lucky as hell. I've had Recon squads that have taken off 6 hull points off the Super Heavy and finished it off. Granted, they died in the explosion, but what a way to go!
So what? You killed the Super Heavy.
One of the things that I really do like about them is people forget they've got shroud bombs.
Yeah,
So you need to make a leadership test to charge them.
I didn't even know that thing existed. So
So
there's the chance that you.
And you've got the options of bolt guns, sniper rifles, shotguns, or additional close combat weapons if you want to go combat.
Cool. And troop destroys, holding objectives,
Why not?
infiltrating in.
And especially those games where
100
points basic, and especially those games where you've got the you gain a victory point for every turn you are on the objective. So first turn of the game, whee!
And you've got better cover save, and you can still go to ground.
Of course you can.
Nice. Yeah, for my Night Lords, that'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
So Chameleon gives them what, 5 up cover?
So Chameleon gives you +1 each cover save.
So you're in cover, so that gives you 4. +1 is 3 up. Then night fighting, I'd be a 2 up cover.
Or you could go to ground and have a 2 up cover.
So I could continue to have a 2 up cover.
Yeah.
I might have to do some.
Mark 6 are coming.
Oh God!
It's the Recon Mark.
See, this is what happens.
Sorry.
Sorry, we've gone off tangent.
Ian's already doing it.
Yeah, nice. Right, well, I know what I'm doing with the
with the Mark
that's
6
coming.
I
know what I'm doing. Fantastic. Awesome. Is that all your troops choices?
No, breaches.
Breaches. Love breaches. You do like breaches.
I do have another few breaches on the painting table, and that's part of Breach Team 6, of course. So again, going back to the theme, I've got me Centurion. I've got me Centurion there with his breaching shield. Oddly enough, it follows the exact trend and pattern of the Mournival rules for a breaching cohort. Cheers, guys.
It's almost like it was planned.
It was actually. It was totally planned. I was doing 2 units of breaches, and then Because you got sent an additional book, and I bought your Mournival book, so you.
Yeah, so I ordered the Necron and the Eldar book, and I got sent. I didn't get sent the Eldar book. I accidentally got sent a normal rules and the Necrons.
Yeah.
So I just, instead of hassling the Mournival guys who are nothing,
I was like, I love it.
I was just like, don't worry about a refund. I've sold it on.
So yes, so no. When I read through that book, and I was like, breaching support squad, you say?
So full squad of breaching shield and plasma or melter or.
That's just it. I mean, again, it goes back to the Mars pattern Crusader Alphas I did. 2 units of 15 breaches with apothecaries, and then 10-man breaching support unit. Using the model used for land raiders, 12-man capacity. Well, there's a Delegatus. Oh, what's that? A spare spot? Another medic.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's not cheap, but
no.
Oh my god,
it's cool. Yeah.
I like me little themes, little tight knit
like
groups.
Doing a little block that
I like doing little blocks that work.
Absolutely. And you and Ian are facing off in Zone Mortalis soon enough.
Yes.
The breachers aren't making it in this one.
No.
But they will be coming.
They will be coming. My full intent is to have more breaches than Ian's got.
Ian has a lot of breaches.
Ian has 20 breaches. Yeah. I plan to have 40. Well, war's attrition, isn't it?
Yeah.
More breaches, clearly the answer.
The Chinese army tactic of more men than bullets. Yeah. Cool. Fantastic. Yeah, I'll go for that. It's going to be a good one. Right then, into fast attack. Oh no, they're still troops, aren't they? You jumpy
fast attack,
jumpy
they
boys.
are. They are indeed.
Yeah, jumpy boys.
So,
your only Mark IV.
My only Mark IV excluding characters. The reason I went for Mark IV is for the same ethos that I did with my Grey Slayer unit, which I did in Mark IV, is they're lighter and they're more agile. Yeah. Mark III armor is designed to take impacts, and stereotypically it's always referred to as void armor.
Yeah.
Because it's got that brutal, heavy look. Mark IV looks so much better on things like Assault Marines or Seekers. It's that sleeker, it's that mobile look. And it was a lot easier getting a hold of Mark IV jump packs than it was Mark III or Mark II jump packs. And they look absolutely fantastic. And I've used them a couple of times. I mean, they've got the standard fit, the Sergeant's got Sergeant's got a Thunderhammer, and I've got 3 power axes in the unit. And I did them because I had the models and I wanted to do it because it's another troops choice. And the idea of throwing a troops choice ahead of an Iron Fire bombardment, because obviously the Iron Fire is the whole rolling fire thing, is, well, that's 15 assault marines you've got to deal with. Oh, by the way, they're fearless.
Yeah.
And that just makes them go from being kind of, oh, hang on.
You can't shoot them off the board because they don't care.
No.
And they're just going to run.
And then they're going to bog things down.
Get
throw your motor bombs in there. You've got your AP2, they don't get shot to bits first. I do like Assault Marines. Plastic Assault Marines, and everybody will have them.
So, we were talking about your Assault Marines. Sorry, my daughter jumped in to say good night. So, quick edit there. We were talking about your Assault Marines and Mark IV sleekness.
Yeah.
I was going to say, where did you get your jump packs from?
So, jump pack are from the Sanguinian Guard.
Of course.
Courtesy of eBay.
Of course. Great source of
managed
Mark
to,
yeah.
It's the best place to get them. I mean, at one point you could even get them quite cheaply, just buying the entire kit and then just using the jump packs and selling the rest on.
Part on the rest. Nice.
Plenty of people that want to do Blood Angels in like the full Sanguinian golden armour and all this, that whole Adonis body thing going on. So
yeah, nice. And obviously fluffy axes and stuff like that for anyone who's, anyone who's doing Blood Angels. Fantastic. Right, onto the famous Iron Havocs there in the middle. I have suffered many times at the hands of Iron Havocs. Being a White Scars player, and they hit on 2s and -1 to your cover save.
Yep.
Not a fan.
Not much AP2 though, so most of your bikes are usually alright.
It's the weight of shot.
Yeah.
It's the autocannons. Everyone writes off autocannons until the Strength 7 re-rolling against vehicles. Like I like running dual Sikaran stuff, and like one unit of them just pangs them down. You just 6s re-rolling with 20 shots. And you're like,
that's it.
Yeah. Even with my Night Lords, it's that -1 cover.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
They are a great unit.
always wanted to do Iron Havocs with autocannons from the moment I've seen that picture where the Iron Havoc is literally just standing there with the autocannon and the low swing. He's in Mark II armour, but he's sitting there with his belt slung autocannon. I was like, yes, 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 yes. But I did the launchers first because I had the parts. A lot easier to get a hold of.
They are very good.
But I mean,
famous for being.
I am missing the one additional unit.
Well, the las cannons.
The las cannons.
They're a lot more expensive.
They are, but there isn't a super heavy. They can't just obliterate.
Oh, that'd be vicious.
I mean, it's the age-old thing when you're taking down super heavies. If you're rocking Iron Havocs, you just take down the shields with the autocannon because it's throwaway. It's only armor 12, and then just las cannon it. Just absolutely obliterate it.
It's that, once again, it's not only your infantry, so you can't be just one-shotted.
Nope.
And your I've lost control. Completely lost it. So you can't. I'm sorry, you can't be made to run away through shooting.
Nope.
So it's just they're such. As long as you've got a tall bit of terrain somewhere, you're covering the board.
And not to mention the fact that the sergeant can take an augury scanner for 5 points.
That's the one, yes.
And then literally keeps his heavy weapon and gets an augury scanner clamped to it.
The one time, Levy in a drop pod, the one time I found it to be utterly pointless was against Iron Havocs.
Yeah.
Because you drop down and you go, ha, and they just go, cool, we're shooting you in your turn and we're re-rolling.
Yeah. Well, but you can't shoot next turn. I don't care, your Leviathan will be dead.
Your Levy's gone. So, I mean, yeah, it's only an 18-inch range for the augury scanner, but a savvy player can cover a lot of ground.
Well, the thing is, it's 18 inches from the unit.
Yeah.
So basically, you spread the unit out and you can get a massive bubble around that. Put 3 units in your backfield, it's just bleh.
It's good. They're a great unit. If you are Iron Warriors or thinking of Iron Warriors, there's a reason people play a lot.
Yeah.
Iron Havocs. Fantastic, right? I think that's most of your infantry talked about.
Yeah.
So we'll go on to the big blows, big
boys,
big blocks. Quad mortars.
Love them.
You like the playtest rules, don't you, Derek?
No, I do not like the playtest rules.
Derek despises the playtest rules. Why do you despise the playtest rules, Derek?
Because it stops it being a quad mortar. I mean, for those watching who remember the original thud gun, which is what the quad mortar is, when you had all those multiple templates and you rolled your dice and well, previously the template was actually pinned together.
Was it?
Yeah, so basically you rolled your dice and you adjusted it, then you put the template down, cool. Which was massively unfair because you put it down, it would wobble slightly. Or you'd build your template to start with, and then you'd position the template on your unit. So it was kind of, it really wasn't. It was. You think the rules are bad for them now? You should have tried that one back.
I don't think they're bad. I just find it slows the game down horrifically when you're like, have to do 4 templates per gun, and each one is phosphex, so it then hits and then it moves, and then how many of the, and it slows the game down.
It can
so
slow it.
much.
I've seen them slow down massively with people who are trying to get max and min. Well, that guy's just clipping that base.
So
that's what always gets me.
Controversially, I am on the side of getting rid of templates because in a friendly between you and me, that hits 3. Yeah, cool. If you say so, D. If I'm at an event, that hits 2. No, it hits 3. It hits 2.
And that's why it gets
and then you need to do it 16 times, and you just kind of go 18.
All the shots.
18.
All the shots.
So I'm actually on the side of getting rid of templates.
I think
when played in a nice environment.
Yeah, when they're played in a nice environment, I think they are fantastic.
They're a cool unit.
The test rules, personally, I think would be much better if they gave them shred instead of twin linked.
That would be
There is nothing twin linked about a quad mortar. It's 4 shots, bang, 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 bang. Surely that's more of a shred effect than a twin linked effect. So large template, strength 5, AP 4, shred.
So
I would have no issues with that whatsoever because you're getting a decent amount of models. You're wounding on 3s, if not 2s, if you're engaging, and then you're re-rolling. So you're going to get that impact of that repeated barrage, which is what the weapon system was designed for. Behind it anyway, but
you tend to run them individually for iron fire reasons, don't you?
I do because I run a light cohort. So I've got the 1500 point iron fire list, which has got the single Scorpius in it. It's got the command Rhino in it. just for those bombardments. And then it's literally troops and rhinos, quad mortars backing them up, and attack support squad in rhino. So you've got that light artillery detachment. They're moving forward, and the artillery are providing that fire support. So I do tend to run them as the 4 elite choices, so 4 individual ones. I mean, granted, some games that's going to cost you. I've had quad mortars completely one-shotted because somebody hit me with a it was a demolisher shell. So you hit 3 models, you wound twice, 2 wounds, quad mortar's gone because you haven't got the guy in front.
And then there.
Because it's the nearest model. Because it's the nearest model. So.
Sometimes it's like my laser rapiers. Sometimes they're invulnerable.
Yeah.
People go, oh, toughness 7, can't do that. Another time, someone gets a plasma onto it, and you go,
annihilate
that's it. It's gone. What are you going to do? But other games, they'll win you the game. Especially if you're sitting in cover and they're just panging away.
Well, that's just it.
They are cool as hell.
I mean, you give them the upgrade, and they are shatter shells because
60 points each.
They come in, I think it's 60 points basic, and then you pay extra for shatter. I think. Don't quote me on that. It's close. So yes, I think it's 60 points basic and 10 for shatter shells. So shatter shells, strength 8, AP 4, sunder.
Yeah, fantastic.
So you can re-roll those hits. It's not tank hunter, but who cares? It's shots on target.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it works really well. I love the other rounds. They're not really worth it unless you're playing militia.
Yeah, if you know who you're coming up against.
If you're playing militia-orientated armies, then yeah, you want the bigger templates, and you want the AP4, and you want the you're re-rolling that thing. No cover for you. So I do like the other shells, and I like the aspects of them. But for me, shatter shells is a given, and quad mortars absolutely. And of course, when the Phosphex Master himself comes out for the Phosphex party, which I have only done once.
It is a
there's
a reason their Phosphex is only AP3.
Yeah. I mean, I made a tub of templates like that out of a Pringle tin. And it was just brutal because literally it was just, there was Phosphex. You couldn't move for Phosphex.
Yeah. That was the idea, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
It's cool.
I'll take it out.
Yeah. As long as you know you're fighting it. Right?
That's just it.
I say, like, it's when you come up against someone at your friendly club and they're doing it and you're like,
no, I have never taken Phosphex in a friendly game.
You know you play it. See, I've done it on my levy. Like that one on top of a levy. But if you fired a whole army, as long as you know, it's fine. It's more annoying when someone's really smug and you're like, well, you've bought a super weapon. Like, how can you be smug when you brought
that's just it. Congratulations, you win, bye.
Yeah. But they are great little quads. So over into your levy.
Yes.
You love a levy. Everyone loves a levy.
I love a levy. And
suits Iron Warriors beautifully.
We all got them at the same time.
We did.
Because
there was a Dreadnought deal.
There was a Dreadnought deal, so basically it was getting armed free, I think it was.
Yeah.
Getting armed free, so you bought them
know
all.
exactly what they're doing.
Of course they do.
You get one £10 arm for free, so like however
14, I think it's 14 quid for it. I think it was 16 quid now.
We all bought. I bought the Deredeo.
You bought all of them.
Tempter.
You bought all of them. We gave you the money back because it was like, the Dreadnoughts are really cheap.
He's like, go, go, go. Yeah, so we
all got
our kits up. It's cool. What's your tell everyone at home the plan?
Plan? Yes, the plan. I like Deredeo Dreadnoughts. There are some aspects of the Deredeo that I don't like the fact it looks like it's meant to be aerodynamic and flying.
I don't mind.
My intent is to get a second Leviathan Dreadnought and basically take its arms off completely and literally use the Deredeo weapon fits straight into the side of that. So literally I have auto cannons, giant belt-fed auto cannons, missile pod on the roof, and then just literally just go, here is my walking bunker, deal with it.
You'd still play with Deredeo rules.
It's the same height profile, it's the same base size, it's just going to look like a brick with guns, which is significantly more Iron Warrior.
Absolutely. I can't wait for you to do that. That's an easy one as well.
It is, and really cool. As much as the other Deredeo weapon outfits are fantastic, and I love every single one of them. I love the Volkite, I love the Las Cannon Death, and I love them all, but for me, certainly for the Iron Warriors, it's got to be those two Andalus auto cannons, so they're 48 inches, strength 8, Sunder, AP4. So yeah.
When I run my Derrido, I have used it with the plasma cannonade and the las cannons. I actually kind of tend to go back to wanting the auto cannons because it keeps it cheap. The las cannons are 50-point upgrade.
Yeah.
The plasma is not anti-tank, which is generally why you bring the Derry. And yes, the auto cannons, the strength 8's under hitting on 2s, and it's air protection as well.
Well, that's just it, because you've got 4 shots re-rolling misses.
Yeah.
And they've got the tracking as well.
Yeah, they can go to helical, whatever. They can give it gain Skyfire. Or you give it the anti-air missiles on top.
And just turn around and just go, oh, P.S., here's 4 missiles.
Yeah, which you can't drink from.
Yeah.
Hitting you on 2.
Have a nice day!
Yeah.
But I will be doing both of the missile options for it because I love that big rocket pod as well.
Yeah, the ALOS missiles, they're cool.
I like the 4 individual like hunter killer missiles, and I love that rocket pod.
It's cool. Then we've got Talon of Contemptors.
Who hasn't? Biggest thing I'm proud of with these Contemptors is I'm not a big fan of the Iron Warriors Contemptor.
No.
It's one of these things where the Legion Contemptors are gorgeous and Forge did a good job on all of them as a one-off.
Yeah.
When you start running 2s and 3s, they just don't look right. Where if you go for your standard press kind of Contemptor, and all of my Contemptors are plastic, they just worked fantastically. And the hardest part about those was working what to put in the ball sockets for the hips to give them make them a bit more dynamic.
And it was actually famous for just being front or back, isn't it?
So basically, assemble the legs completely, cut the legs off at the hips, drill them out with a 5mm or 5.5mm drill bit, and then use 6mm plastic BBs.
Of which you have a few.
I have a few, and literally then you've got ball sockets for your plastic Contemptor.
Nice.
I am very much hoping that the new Contemptor that's coming has that already.
Has a bit more mobility. I mean, it wouldn't be much to do to model it like that.
Nah, much more versatile that way around as well.
Awesome. Magged, obviously.
Magged, of course.
Yeah. Fantastic little things, Contemptors.
I think my Contemptors have the assault cannons. I've got one guy who I use as a breaching Contemptor with the multi-melter and the chain fist.
Yeah.
He's also going to get an alternative weapon fit with one of the Arcana weapons, which is going to be the Toxiferum Flamer.
Of course.
Because I like the idea of having him as part of the Destroyer cohort. So he can have a Toxiferum Flamer. He can't have the Flamestorm cannon because that's box dread only, but he can have a Toxiferum Flamer.
Yeah.
Which I think would look quite tasty.
Of course.
On that. Yeah, it's not great. Well, I say it's not great, but Zone Mortalis, it's strength 7.
So it becomes
strength 8 because it already has shred.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because it comes with shred standard.
People out.
Potentially, but obviously you still get your saves.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but this is barbecue.
Yeah.
This is cool.
More flames. Nice. We've already talked about your land speeder styles.
Yep.
So we're on to the actual tracked vehicles.
Woohoo!
Predator Squadron.
Love Predators. Again, using the standard plastic kit with the, I believe now out of print, Forge Extra Armor kit. And then the dozer blades were from Chimeras, Guard Chimeras. And then basically the front is an original Rhino front panel which I kit bashed and widened. So it actually filled the space instead of being significantly more narrowed, and then it was like the rivets and everything else.
And you built your own sponsons as well.
So the sponsons are the plastic sponsons with the
hurricane bolter.
Hurricane bolters on from the sides from the Storm Eagles, because again with the Storm Eagle kit you don't use the Hurricane baton bolters, and I've got them off you, and I've got them off mine, and then literally just put heavy bolters on the side, so you've got that boxed bricky look which is carried throughout the rest of it in that kind of. This is an efficient killing machine. Yeah. It's designed to look big, clunky, and heavy.
Absolutely.
It ain't meant to be pretty. It's a weapon.
Absolutely. And you like running them for the Armoured Breakthrough, is it? So
it's the Armoured Breakthrough list, and again, it goes back to small detachments that are effective. And the idea of having, as you've seen in the previous game, a 10-man tac squad in a Rhino supported by a Predator bombing around the place. Your Predator's got the firepower for putting things down, and then your Rhino's got that, and obviously you've got scoring units, plenty. Because the Predators are scoring units because they're troops choices.
Cool. Damocles?
Again, Damocles Command Rhino. This one's
more
a bit of
templates.
More templates. And the main reason I built this one was because I wanted a command Rhino for all of my Rhino mounted vehicles, so I could literally run a command element, a forward command vehicle. Yeah. So I came up with that vehicle's got a call sign. That vehicle's actually referred to as the Beholder. The Beholder. Because it's literally full of optics and it looks at everything.
I remember you saying that.
So the main optic on the front is the weapon system from the Striker/Stalker from the 40k range, with a big optical array bit in the front of it, and then just mounted on a standard fit. The dish is from the same kit, and then obviously kit bash the rest of it. The bit I'm proudest about the most is I actually found it in the bottom of my bits box, which was one of the original Sisters of Battle plastic kits. So that's why the top of the vehicle looks completely different to everything else.
It's really weird.
So it's the original Sisters of Battle Rhino top, which was the Rhino top and the Immolator. Nice. Before they updated the range completely and overhauled it. But it just gives it that chunkier, heavier look. It's got all the optics 360 degrees all the way around it. And it just gives it a more kind of, I am here to observe and report.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique looking cool vehicle.
And then it just basically sits at the back of the table, one of a handful of vehicles that doesn't have a dozer blade, because literally it's going to park there, look at you, and send everything in against you.
Yeah, it's not there to fight.
No.
Vindy in the middle?
Gotta have a Vindy. Again, all plastic kit, slight modifications to give it more of a heresy look. And it's a Vindicator. Run it with the power of the machine spirit. You want to break a wall? Throw it a wall.
Yeah, that's the whole point, isn't it? I hate your Scorpius.
I love my Scorpius.
It's done so much damage to me.
It's one of these things. I've worked out many lists, and it's every single one of them always has a Scorpius in it. And if it's an iron, if I could, I would have 3 of them in my Iron Fire list, because I think they are fantastic.
They are.
It's got the Hunter/Stalker side, so you've got those hydraulic rams for fixing it in place, because if it doesn't move, it gets D3 extra shots, because I wanted that heavier. No, I'm an artillery pillbox.
Yeah.
Here we go. Throw in a combi grenade launcher on the roof, because 5 points. And then obviously you've got the option.
Chance of avoiding.
It goes from 50-50 to a 33% chance of losing the main weapon system, because let's face it, you're taking a Scorpius because of that weapon system. And I love the Scorpius. I love the dynamic of it. I love the fact that basically it's the Arcus, but teeny. But it's teeny.
Yeah, it's great. Barrage. If it wasn't barrage, it wouldn't be so bad. But the fact it's barrage.
Good barrage.
Good barrage. And you don't care about the scatter.
No, because I'm fire. Oh, I've got multiple optics on the table.
You've got a load of Nuncio boxes.
Hey, can you take an Augur scanner? Yes. Good.
Stay with me.
March it that way.
115, so 120 the way you
115, 120 with the extra.
Yeah, fantastic.
Park it at the battle board, 48-inch range.
And just punt straight 8 shots everywhere. AP3.
Yep. Barrage, so you're lucky to get those covers in.
48-inch. Nice little tank. I say, I would have one in my legions. From my run into is that I only have one heavy support club.
Yeah.
Which is why I want to do a different legion.
All the heavy support
All the heavy support choices.
Iron Warriors can have 4.
I know. Yeah, I can honestly say I have no temptation for Iron Warriors. And not just because you already do them, they just don't do it for me. It's fair. Don't know. I love your Legion, and I do enjoy fighting it, but it's not one I've ever seen you do. All power to you. I'll absolutely. One of the things I like about Sector is that we're going to be swapping forces, and I will be making you face your own horrible combos yourself.
Good. Because why not?
Yeah.
Although I learned them from somebody who did it to me in the first
Yeah, well that's pretty much where I learned my tactics.
It's circular.
It's kind of you go and do something and someone feels something, you go, you can do that? And they're like, yeah, didn't you know? I was like, oh.
That was Nick the other week.
Oh,
what do you mean tactical support squads can take close combat weapons? No, they can't. Show them the book. Oh, they can. I'm so putting power axes on, chain axes on all my tactical support squads from now on, because they're still world leaders.
Still world leaders with rage.
Give them Volkite charges.
Of course. Oh yeah.
Move, fire, Volkite charger, charge in.
Just become terror squads now. Trip Rhinos, which all look identical.
Yes, oddly enough, because stamp template. So yeah, got standard Rhinos, multi-metal turrets.
Of course. course.
Because you got to have the
That's
multi-misser.
The multi-misses.
Threw in a 100 kilo missile on the top there, just because I like the idea of it, slung on the top there, and dozer blades with extra armor. Again, using plastic kits, they're actually Vindicators.
Are they?
They're all Vindicator hulls. And I got those 3 from Ian because he was going to get rid of them, and basically kit bashed the top sections to give them hatches, and then ripped out the fronts and rebuilt the fronts to give them more of that Heresy look. So you've got that 2-panel look instead of that 40k look, which instantly makes them look like Heresy Mars pattern vehicles. And with the extra armor, they just look fantastic.
They're great. Cool.
And well, it's a Rhino. People underestimate Rhinos, but
I agree.
For 50 points, you can have a armor 11 or 11-10 carrying models with a multi-melter on the roof with 3 hull points. For the same points, you can have a land speeder. That's going to come up trumps on a land speeder.
Yeah.
It's also 360 because of the pintle mount.
Yeah, of course.
But,
It's just that chance with a multi-misser.
Well,
Just that chance to be a...
we all take it.
We all do it.
We all do it.
Everyone's played that game where the one Rhino has managed to gimp out someone's champion, or just killing a Terminator a turn. It's earning its points back every turn.
One-shotting that character that got out of formation.
Yeah, that's it. Or making javelins drink.
Yep.
Well worth it.
Would you like to drink or die?
Yeah. So cool.
No. But one of the things I'm quite pleased of with all of my Rhinos is, as you may have noticed from the pictures, I've remodeled the entire back ends of them. So they don't have like a big access hatch, they have like a side hatch because they're not assault vehicles.
Right.
But amusingly enough, for those that are keen-eyed, they're all road legal. Because the backs of my Rhinos have lights from the original Rhinos, so they've actually got they've got brake lights and indicators. Because health and safety first, guys. Come on.
Of course. Well, that's why you've got hazard stripes everywhere. So we're dangerous.
We're dangerous.
Please believe that we're scary.
Don't get too close.
What was it? I remember reading some fluff. I think it was fan-based fluff on like where the Iron Warriors got their
hazard stripes.
And like I think this one was that they were so used to defending places that they were stood still like statues.
Yeah.
So the hazard stripes came about because the civilians thought they were all just statues, and it was actually to warn them that no, they were real. And they were defending stuff. Yeah, that's definitely not true, but it's cool enough.
It's one of the things that I do love is people say hazard stripes, and it's absolutely right, but it's golden jet. They're the 2 materials they actually use to do it. It's golden jet.
Right, okay.
So they always refer to it in the hazard stripes of golden jet.
All right.
So all the posh people are in bling.
They're blinged up.
They're blinged up.
Who knew that the Iron Warriors were blinged up? Right, and then we're into your heavy armour. So we'll start with the Sikaran, sat in the back.
Had to do a Sikaran.
Yeah.
For the armoured breakthrough list. I could have ran a Predator and then ran 2 separate Predators, but I like the Squadron of 3 because it matches the 3 tax squads. Standard Sicarans.
That's my favourite.
I love them. It was...
Autocannons, obviously.
For me, it was one of these things where I didn't enjoy painting it as much as I hoped I would.
Really? I really enjoyed doing all mine.
It's probably the least favourite model I have painted.
Really?
It's one of my favourite models for using.
Oh, yeah.
Primarily because sponson heavy bolters, hull heavy bolter, pintle heavy bolter, ballistic skill 5.
Yeah.
Here's 12 shots coming at you.
That's it.
And obviously shrapnel rounds as well, so there's the pinning as well. So, yeah, had to do a command variant of it. Yeah. So it's me Master of Armour for...
That's right, for your armour breakthrough stuff. Love a sick one. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And then your very heavily converted Land Raider million... What have we got? What have we got here? We've got 2 of the Crusader Alphas that we've got.
Crusader Alphas, we have Spartan. Mars Spartan.
A Mars pattern Spartan.
Mars pattern Spartan. And I owe major thanks to my friend Chris Sutherland at Bow and Blade for 3D printing me my side sponsons to my specifications.
All right, okay.
So they're all 3D printed side sponsons with the exclusions of the doors, and then
so they look like Mark IIB side.
Yes. I wanted the heavier, bulkier look, but I couldn't afford to have 6 2Bs, and it wouldn't have fitted everything that I wanted. But getting Chris to do the CAD design from scratch based on, I forget which tank he based them off, but it's a real world tank they were actually based off. And then basically printing those up, and he did a couple of iterations of them, posted them to me so I could confirm size for the doors, because he didn't have any Space Marine stuff to actually check the size of the doors. And then we eventually got it nailed down, and then just went from there.
It is cool.
Um,
Absolute chunk. And you've extended the front.
I've extended the front, so I learned my lessons with the Spartan when I did the failed Spartans, or the Alphas, the Crusader Alphas, and learnt my lesson from scratch. And when I built your Spartan for your Night Lords, we went 50-50 on the tracks.
Yep.
So I have the internal track units, which actually give you a centimetres extra height, which means I got the height that I needed to make it look and feel like a Spartan. And then I widened the hull by like 1.5 centimetres. It doesn't need it.
No.
It was already wide enough, more so with the side sponsons, but I just wanted it to look like it could carry 25 models.
Absolutely.
Rebuilt the front completely out of scratch. It's predominantly plastic hard and green stuff, and time. So much time.
It's the rivets on it as well, man.
Well, the rivets, it was Alex that put me on the rivets, because I initially been using 1mm steel bearings,
Okay.
drilling a hole, meticulously putting a steel bearing in, and then hoping it stayed where it was damn well put. And Alex basically turned around and says, why don't you use these? And they're split rivets from Nail Art from eBay.
Okay.
And literally he's got them, I think it's 1.5 mil, so they're a bit bigger than the rivets I was doing on my lighter tanks, but on the bigger tanks it's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got some up to like 5 mil, which I've never used.
Tormentor.
Yeah, Tormentor. But it's putting those extra details on, and that I found made the difference.
Yeah, it ties it all in.
And then taking some of the standard rivets off and making them bigger, so it just looks like we've bolted this huge thing onto the side of this tank
More
with
armor.
bigger rivets. But no, that is Gold's personal transport.
Nice.
That is the only 11th Siege Company tank.
Okay, cool.
Because that tank, 10 Terminators, Gold, go!
Yeah.
Party bus.
Nice. It is gorgeous. And then we've got a Squadron.
Squadron or individuals, depending what I need. Primarily built them because I wanted box Land Raiders, and I needed something to transport troops. And then that's where it started. Was the standard 40k Land Raider?
Yeah.
Because obviously they are there.
Yep.
So modifying the fronts, so you've actually got more of an enclosed heavy bolter sponson, so it's more tighter, so it looks much more heavy reinforced. Rebuilding elements of the top deck, so you've actually got the aspect of that more flat, that more Heresy plane, than you do with a massive amount of detail. And then pintle mounted heavy bolter on the roof, because heavy bolter.
More heavy bolters.
And then I did those two, and then decided with spare parts I had left over from doing my Space Wolf one, did the Proteus.
Is this one here?
So that's the Proteus in the middle. And then obviously what I do have is they're unpainted, need to finish them, I know. I've got the Volkites for the sides, I've got a quad mortar for the hull, and I've got an additional twin las cam for the hull if I want to roll with the triple las Phobos, sorry not Phobos, Proteus,
Yep.
for that extra cheeky shot.
Yeah.
And
So you basically built yourself an Achilles.
yes, because they stopped doing it.
Because they don't exist anymore.
They stopped
don't
doing them.
build anymore. Curses. Awesome. And last but not least.
Last but not least, that little bit
little
of air
fly.
support all by itself. Xiphon.
Cute little Xiphon.
And got the Xiphon from Nick at the club. He had it spare. I got it. And painted it up within about 18 hours, I think it was. And turned up with it at the club the next day. Primarily because I needed some description of air support.
Yeah.
And I could have gone with the Primus Strike Fighters, but everyone seems to go for Primus because, let's face it, cracker-headed penetrators.
It's just
win.
delivering that penetrator.
And then we've got, we've got the missile launcher underneath. You've got the two twin las cannons. It's armor 11 all round, where the other ones have the armor 10 on the back end. And it's agile, so you get that extra jink.
It's cool. I do like it, Xiphon. They are underplayed only because they are just outvalued.
Yeah, totally. If it was, I reckon, if they made the other one more expensive or made this one cheaper.
Yeah, but you'd suddenly
Because that's still 215 points.
That's the problem. And a tool that lightning's 230.
And that's with Kraken heavy penetrators.
That's with
it's
2 sets, sorry, not 6 sets. So
but that's that's you turning up and turning around and go, you see, you're super heavy.
Yeah,
I don't like it. It's gonna die.
But I do like Azife. They are underrepresented, as you say.
Yeah.
So that's everything. That's your Legion that you have painted. So apart from some breaches on the painting table that you've told us about, how many points have you got here then?
So excluding those breaches, it's about 9,800 points painted.
That's a chunky one.
Probably stretch more if I rammed all the upgrades on.
Yeah.
Because I don't run any of my sergeants with artificer armor because Iron Warriors. Just fits better.
Yeah.
But other things I would like to do,
Yep.
the breaches are on the table, as I've already discussed. I want to build the Tormentor.
Of course.
I need to build the Tormentor, so I've actually got a super heavy for this list. Part of me would love a Mastodon, because I think a Mastodon with all this armor would look tasty as hell.
Absolutely.
But I think
That's a lot of money to have spare.
it is a lot of money to have spare, and it's one of those models that you'll put on the table, use maybe twice, and it'll sit in a cabinet for all the time. And then I've got a few little things that I would like to do, which are more on the back burner. I want to bulk up the Terminator Squad, so I've got 3 10-man Terminator Squads. I very much would like to do some of the heavy destroyers.
Yep.
So Mournival. And I would also like to do the Mournival Landspeeder Squadron, because they've got the Mars pattern Landspeeder Squadron.
Oh yeah.
Which is where the Landspeeder Cutter comes from. But they've got Mars pattern Javelins as well.
Cool.
So they've got the extra armour on the front, so they're up armoured. But what I like about the standard Landspeeders is they can have autocannons. So,
why did I not guess?
So underslung autocannon, hull mounted heavy bolter, and what's really nice about those is they get grav backwash, but it's only -1, not -2.
Ah, right, and not quite as advanced.
Not quite as advanced, but at the same time, just chunky bricks.
Yeah.
But I think that would be quite tasty, and obviously my Boardwalk Deredeo with its
of course.
quad auto cannons of doom.
That is what I'm looking forward to seeing from you.
To be honest, might get done before the Tormentor. The Tormentor's going to take time and work.
Look, on it, it's such an easy one because all the
Oh,
arms of everything are separate.
It's a kit
so
bash, not a
literally-
conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. But I haven't seen it done.
No.
And it'll look great, and it will really fit with this army.
Yeah, that with Terminators. All the Terminators. Because then what you can do, and again, they've never released the model for it, or they did preview it several years ago, is the automatic Palverse, which gives you +1 to your invulnerable saves.
That's right.
So that's...
And you sit him with your Siege Tyrants who've now got 3 up invuln and supported by...
or walking forwards and just roll it forward, so all your Terminators within a 6-inch bubble have 3 up invuns.
That is awesome. I like
Have all
that.
the plasma you wanted, 3 up invuns.
Yeah, I was going to say, you wouldn't care about fighting my plasma death then, would you? Awesome. It's a fantastic force.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see far, far more of it. And I can't wait to use it myself.
Yeah, there's some things we've got lined up.
Being able
nice.
to max out a heavy support choice and be like, I get to play with this too.
I think I've got like 9 or 10 heavy
Yeah, you got
support
a lot.
choices in this.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having a chat with us and a talk with us. And we'll be doing more of these as we get through everything. And next up, we are even doing these in Zone Mortalis, aren't we?
We are.
You're going to see a lot more of us. Thank you for everyone who has watched, and thank you all very much for the nice comments.
Yep.
And we'll keep doing what we're doing.
Catch us next time.
Thank you very much.